Welcome to the channel. It's Team Money Magic coming at you with some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle draft content. Today, we're going to be looking over all the green cards in the set. It's going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going to be putting up the card. Right beside the card, there's going to be a letter grade. An A is a bomb. It's a card that's just going to help you win the game. A B is a card that's very highly playable. You're going to be very happy to have it in your deck. A C is like a filler card. Sometimes you'll have to cut some of these cards. Sometimes you'll leave them in. A D is more of like a situational sideboard card. And then an F is a card that's just completely unplayable and limited. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in. So our first card is going to be Carrier of Concebibles. It is for 2 mana. It is a human citizen at uncommon. It says when this creature enters, you may search your library for a food card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. If you don't put a card into your hand this way, create a food token, and it's a 1/2. I think this is a great card. We've seen in all of our other set reviews, there's a lot of pizza tokens and stuff that actually do damage. So it's like getting a removal spell from your deck. And then like the floor of this, like you've already drawn out, like say you only have a couple of pizzas or something, then it's still like a 2 mana that puts a food token on the battlefield, can help you stabilize and stuff like that. I think this card has a lot of great upside, particularly in like green black, because they care about like sacrifice and things like that. This just kind of helps you get there. So yeah, I think it's a great card. You're gonna be very happy to have it in your deck. Next up, we have Cowabunga. It's for 1 green mana. It's a sorcery. It says look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a mutant, ninja, turtle, or land from among them and put them into your hand, put the rest into the bottom of your library in a random order. This card is going to be okay. Even in a world where like there's mutants, there's ninjas, there's turtles. Looking at the top 4 doesn't always guarantee that you get something. The land part does help a lot with that because there's a good chance that you'll definitely get a land. A lot of times that's probably going to be what you're wanting to do on turn 1 if this is your turn 1 play. So I don't think it's like unplayable or anything like that. There's definitely some high upside to it. It's going to feel really bad if like you play this later on and you whiff on it, and that is going to be possible. But like it's got a decent enough ceiling, and like the floor is probably like you just get a land from your deck, and that still thins out your deck. Next up, we have Frog Butler. It is for 2 mana. It is a frog spirit at common. You can pay 1 to add 1 mana of any color. You can pay 2, and this creature gains reach until end of turn. It's a 1/1 with Death Touch. So this is very solid playable. A 2 mana 1/1 that that creates mana. We see that all the time. The fact that this one can create mana and when you need it to, and then when you need it to be more defensive and take care of some flyers, it also has that option. Like it has a lot of great upside. This is definitely going to be a great common for you. It's going to help you ramp. It's going to help you stabilize. And like worst case, like when it's outserved its purpose and you're getting all the mana that you want, then it becomes a great defensive card to have. So you're going to be very happy to have at least 1 copy of these in your deck. Next up, we have Round Chuck and Dirtbag. It is for 6 mana, including 2 in green. It's a legendary creature, Oxmole Mutant at rare. It has Trample. It says whenever you tap a land for mana at green, and it is an 8/8. So I don't know how much the land ability is really going to matter, because by the time you have 6 mana out on the battlefield, I mean, it might help you double spell or something, but I mean, you've probably got the mana that you need for your limited game. But it is overstated, 6 mana for an 8/8. I mean, that's pretty solid. I mean, if it was just a 6 mana 8/8 with Trample, you'd still be happy with that. So like the additional upside makes it better. It is a great card. I don't really think that it's like a bomb, because more or less it's just like a vanilla creature. But well, it's not vanilla because it has Trample, but it's just like a 6 mana 8/8 that has Trample. That's not necessarily going to win you the game on its own or anything, or run away with the game. But it is going to be difficult for your opponents to block. They're going to have to answer it. And if they don't answer it and they don't have enough creatures to be able to take care of it, it's going to feel really bad. There's still going to be a lot of potential for you to like get 2 creatures for 1 on this card, and and the upside on it's high enough. Like I think it's a great card. Again, maybe not a bomb, but it's really close to one. Next, we have Guac and Marshmallow Pizza. It is for 1 green. It's an artifact food. It has flash. It says when this artifact enters, target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You untap it. You can pay 2 to sacrifice it. You gain 3 life. So we see these in every format. These like cheap green cards that let you untap a creature, kind of can like trick your opponent into maybe attacking into you, thinking that you don't have anything. They always play just fine. I don't see this one being any different. I think it has a lot of upside because of the sacrifice that it can do. Paying 2 to gain 3 life. So yeah, I think this is going to be fine. Like it's going to be one of those cards that might not make your deck every time, just because there's only so many spots. But like if you have 1 copy of this in your deck, I mean, it can help turn a game around in the right circumstances. Your opponent's not going to expect it a lot of times. So definitely something like when you are thinking about attacking into your opponent, they have green mana up to keep this card in mind. Next up, we have Leatherhead Swamp Stalker. It is for 4 mana, including 2 in green. It's a legendary creature, Crocodile Mutant Rogue. It has Trample. It says Leatherhead enters with a hexproof counter on it. When Leatherhead deals combat damage to a player, you may remove the counter from her When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. She starts out as a 5/4. So there's not really too many. There's a couple of enchantments, particularly in like white and stuff, that you're gonna want to definitely get rid of. The artifact part gonna come up a little bit less often. You can destroy any artifact, so if it's an artifact creature, that's gonna feel really good. The fact that it's in green also helps because it says you can just remove a counter. It doesn't have to be the hexproof counter that she has on her. So like in green, there's going to be ways that you can put +1/+1 counters on her and things like that. It's going to make her a better attacker, and then also you can remove those afterwards. Because of the hexproof, it's going to be hard for anyone to get rid of her. I think she's a great card. I would actually I would say that she's a bomb. She's definitely a bomb. I mean, paying 4 mana for a 5/4 is buff stat. It's got trample. It has ways to keep itself protected. And if you have ways to put +1/+1 counters on her, and then you can just start removing enchantments and things that have kind of like gotten in your way, you're just going to run away with the game. So yeah, she's great. You're going to love to have her.
Pizza spell.
Next up, we're going to look at Michelangelo Game Master. It's for 3 mana. It's a legendary creature, Mutant Ninja Turtle at common. It has disappear. That means at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Michelangelo. Starts out as a 3/3. So 3 mana 3/3 is like just fine. That's right where you want to be. Do keep in mind this is legendary. We've seen one of these in every color. It's one of the turtles at like a common rarity. So you're not going to be able to play multiple of these or anything. But this one is probably one of the better ones. I mean, paying 3 mana for a 3/3 is already just fine. The fact that you're going to be in green, so like if you're in the mutant green deck, like that's the green blue color pair, and you're able to like get rid of a mutagen token. And you target this one with it, it turns into a 5/5. So like it's going to feel pretty good. And if you don't want to spread the love around, it still gives itself a +1/+1 counter as well. So all that I think makes this a great card. You're gonna be really happy to have it in your deck. Do keep in mind though, again, the legendary creature, it's a common, so they're gonna be going around the table. Probably only gonna want one of these in your deck, but you're gonna be happy to have the one copy of it. Next up, we see Michelangelo Improviser. It is for 4 mana. It's a legendary creature, Mutant Ninja Turtle. You can sneak it in for 2 generic and then 2 in green. It says whenever Michelangelo deals combat damage to a player, you may put a creature card in or land card from your hand onto the battlefield. It is mythic. So we see one of these pretty often in green. Just these cards that, like, if they're tapped or if they do combat damage or something, you can lay something down from your hand. I think a lot of people, they get tunnel vision when they see that. They think that they're just going to have like this massive creature that they can lay out because they're able to sneak this in, and that's just not going to be the case. But the thing is with this one, first fine. And the fact that it's not just a creature, you can also play an additional land. So like that's going to matter. You can help you ramp with that. If you are able to sneak it in, like even if you sneak this card in and then you only get to lay down like a 2 mana creature card or a 3 mana creature card or something, like that's still a big advantage in limited and stuff like that. So unlike some of them that I think are just like completely unplayable, you're never going to get the ability to go off. I do think you're going to get the ability to trigger for this, mainly because it also has the land ability. That doesn't make it unplayable. Like it's a fine card. A 4 mana 4/4 on its own is like perfectly statted, and then it does have a lot of upside to it. It's not a bomb or anything, but it isn't mythic. So if you're already in the green direction, you're definitely going to want to pick it up because you're probably not going to see a lot of them going around the table. Next up, we have Michelangelo Mutant BFF. It is for 4 mana, including 2 in green. It's a legendary creature, Mutant Ninja Turtle. At uncommon, it says each creature you control with a counter on it can't be blocked by more than one creature. Whenever Michelangelo enters or attacks, create a mutagen token. It's a 4/4. So I think this card's great. 4 mana 4/4 again, as we just talked about in the last card. That's perfectly statted, exactly where you want to be. The fact that it enters and it also gets the enter trigger, it's not just on attack, that makes it even better. Like there's a world where you lay cell on turn 4. The next turn that you put the mutagen token on it, that's probably what's going to happen more times than not. Then it just becomes a 5/5, but that can only be blocked by one creature at a time. And then you're going to create another mutagen token. You can start spreading the wealth around because then you have more creatures with more counters on them. So yeah, I think this card's going to be really nutty. It's going to be one of the better uncommons in the set. You're going to be very happy to play with it. It is double green, so do keep that in mind. You're not always going to be able to play it on turn 4, but even if you have to wait until turn 5 to play it, and then you just have the extra mana around to go ahead and create that mutagen token, and you can go ahead and start the ability to get triggered. So yeah, I think it's a great card. You're going to be very happy to have it. Pizza spell. Next up, we have Michelangelo Weirdness 211. It is a 2 mana. It is a legendary creature, Mutant Ninja Turtle at rare. It says when Michelangelo enters, create a mutagen token. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put onto it instead. So I think this card is great. 2 mana 1/1 starts out understated, but you do go ahead and get that mutagen token off of it. Again, there's mutagen tokens everywhere. I do apologize that I haven't gone over the mutagen mechanic yet, so my bad. It's an artifact that has one generic. You can tap it to sacrifice and put a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. So that's what mutagen is. I probably should have mentioned that a lot earlier, uh,
Pizza
yeah,
spell.
it's a great mechanic. I think this is going to go well. The fact that like you lay this down, it's a 2 mana card. If you have 3 mana laying around when you lay this down, then you can go ahead and turn it into a 3/3 like already, and then it just becomes like you pay 3 mana to get a 3/3, which is solid. And again, like we've already seen mutagen mentioned a couple of times in green, there's going to be ways to put +1/+1 counters on things, and you're going to be able to double up on those counters. I think it's going to be great. It is a little bit understated. Like there is, unfortunately, like your opponent can deal with this pretty easily, especially when it starts out pretty tiny. But it does have a lot of upside in it. I think it's another card that's not quite like bomb status or anything, but you're going to be very happy to have it in your deck. It's going to be next up. We have Michelangelo's Technique. It is for 5 mana. You can sneak it in for 3 generic and a green. It says, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put 2 creature cards with total mana value 6 or less from among them onto the battlefield and put the rest on the bottom of your library at any random order. So this is going to be great. Just paying, even paying 5 mana for this, like you're going to be able to hit this. Because I mean, you're looking at the top 8 cards. Paying 5 mana for this to put 2 creatures on the battlefield is going to feel great. You can have like a 4 mana card and a 2 mana card, or 2 3/3s, or like even if you have to because of like this, whatever the situation is, you don't exactly get to total mana value of 6. Like if you lay down a 3 mana card and a 2 mana card, you're still going to be pretty happy with that. All that makes this card great. I do think it's a bomb. I think it's a card you're going to be very happy to have. Next up, we have Mona Lisa Science Geek. It is for 3 mana. It's a legendary creature, lizard mutant at uncommon. It has reach. It says add X mana of any one color, where X is Mona Lisa's power, and she is a 1/3. So as we've seen, there are ways where you can put mutagen counters and things. So like if you have mutagen counter and you can make her bigger, and then you're getting 2 mana out of her instead of 1, that's great. Because she has reach, she's good for defensive purposes as well. I think there's a lot of flexibility with this card. Like a 3 mana 1/3 is a little bit understated, but it is a mana dork, and that does matter. It'll help you get ramped up into bigger creatures. You'll be okay with having at least one of these in your deck. Next up, we have Mutagen Man, Living Ooze. It is for X and 2 green. It's a legendary creature, Ooze Mutant. It has Trample. It says activated abilities of artifact tokens you control cost 1 less to activate. When Mutagen Man enters, create X mutagen tokens. So this is nuts. It scales with the game. There is, like let's say that you have 7 mana and you're able to get down 5 mutagen tokens. Because they cost 1 less to activate. They're just free. You're just going to be able to put 5 counters wherever you want. You can put it on this creature to make it bigger. You can put it on other creatures to make them bigger. There is a ton of upside to this card. It's a bomb. You're going to be very happy to have it. Again, as always, little asterisk having the 2 green mana pip, it is going to be hard. Like, if you're desperate to lay this down on turn 3, which typically you're going to want to wait till you have more mana and you can really maximize this. But it might be hard to lay down, like if you're trying to lay it down on curve. But you probably honestly don't want to lay it down on curve unless you have like a crazy amount of things that create mutagen tokens, and you want to get the engine going early. Because this is one of those cards that like you slam down and then it just generates so much value for you that you just run away with the game afterwards. Next up, we have Mutant Chain Reaction. It's for 3 mana. It's a sorcery at common. It says destroy up to 1 target artifact, enchantment, or creature token with flying. Create a mutagen token. It's at common. We see this in every single set. They always are fine. A lot of times they end up being more of like situational sideboard cards just because, even though there is an artifact theme in this, it's not heavy. Even though there are some enchantments you want to deal with, that's not prevalent either. And there are creatures with flying that you want to deal with. I think it's flexible enough. Like if you had to main board it, like you're going to be okay with that. But like if you're pulling this out of your sideboard, you're going to be fine as well. I don't think it's like just a sideboard card, so it's going to be a little bit higher than that. But like sometimes you'll have to leave this on the chopping block, and you're not going to necessarily feel bad about doing it. Next up, we have New Generations Technique. It is for 4 mana. It's a sorcery at uncommon. You can also sneak it in for 2 generic and a green. And it's a search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put them onto the battlefield. Tap, then shuffle. So this is just like a ramp spell. We see these in every single set. It really depends on how fast this format is. A lot of times this is going to end up on the chopping block. I am also just now realizing I never did go with the sneak ability either. So to sneak something into play, it is kind of like ninjutsu. And if you've never played ninjutsu and you've never done sneak and this is your first time going out and playing Magic, basically before, like when you go to combat, there's this special. So you go to combat, and then your opponent has to go to this step called declare block steps. So if you play this in, and then during the declare block step, so they have officially declared their blocks and everything, before you go to the next step, which is damage, If you have an unblocked creature, you can sneak this card in, or any card with sneak. So this is a sorcery. The sneak allows you to get around that. Like, then you can do it at instant speed. So yeah, that is what sneak is. Should have done a better job explaining that much earlier, so I do apologize. But yes, that is what sneak is. This is just a ramp card. If you ramp something in here, it's just, a lot of times they end up getting cut. We really are reaching a point in limited where every single card needs to be doing something. Like, you need to be adding to your board, taking away from your opponent's board, and stuff like that. This does add to your board in a big way because you're putting 2 lanes onto the battlefield. But depending on how fast the game is going, like using your turn 4 to put no like threat on the board or anything, or remove a big threat from them, could just spell disaster for you. I really think this is going to come down to what kind of deck you're in, and because of that, it's just going to be a card that's like very situational. Uh, Next up, we have Novel Nunchucka. It is for 3 mana. It's an artifact equipment and uncommon. It says when this equipment enters, attach it up to one target creature you control. When you do, equip creature fights up to one target creature an opponent controls. The equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample, and you can equip it then for 3. So this is solid. This is a great removal spell. It is an uncommon, so you're going to want to take it pretty high. The fact that it gives you like an immediate threat, so like putting an artifact down and being able to immediately attach it is going to be huge. It's going to make your card bigger. It's going to be able to win you out on a lot of those like combat spells and stuff like that. And if your opponent is unlucky enough to where like that was the only creature they had, then you're probably going to be able to swing in for some massive damage too. So yeah, all that makes this a great card. You're going to take it pretty highly. You're going to be happy to have it in your deck. Next up, we have Party Dude. It is for 1 green. It says when this class enters, each player creates a food token. Then you can pay 1 generic and a green to put it onto level 2. It says whenever an artifact an opponent controls is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you get to draw a card. And then you can pay 4 generic and a green, and it gets to level 3. It says whenever one or more of your opponents are attacked, up to one target attacking creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. It's an enchantment class. I think this card's pretty solid. You're going to be happy to have it. You do give your opponent a food token, so like that part's kind of not going to be good. But if you can get this to level 2 before they use that food token, then even though like a food token, the way that it works on the stack is like it's a token, so it goes to the goes to the graveyard, and then it just kind of ceases to exist. So you would still get the ability off of it. So it's like it goes to the graveyard first, and then it just disappears forever. So whenever an artifact opponent controls put in the graveyard, you get to draw a card. So like you kind of hurt them. Because they get to gain 3 life, but you get to draw a card, and drawing a card is like the most powerful thing you can do in Magic. And then if you're able to get it up to the 5 mana cost, then you're probably just going to run away with the game. Even if you only have like 2 or 3 cards in your hand, you're still giving your creature a pretty significant buff, and that's going to feel really good too. Like just kind of going to help you close out some games. I think this card has a lot of high upside, and because it's so cheap, you can kind of scale. You can use it to scale with the game. Like if this was your turn 1 play, you wouldn't feel bad about it. So yeah, there's a lot of flexibility in it. I think it's a great card. You're gonna be happy to have it. Next up, we have Primadoral Pachyderm. It is for 4 mana. It's a creature elephant avatar. At common, it has reach and trample. It says when this creature enters, you gain 2 life, and it's a 4/4. We see these in every set, like a green card that's a little bit beefier that helps gain you some life. This one has a ton of upside, like having both reach and trample makes it good for defense and offense. It's perfectly sided at 4 mana 4/4. I think this is a great common. It's one you're going to be very happy to have in your deck, and there's a good chance like you're going to be able to get multiple of these because they're common. You're going to be happy to have every single one of them, which is a great card. Next up, we have Ragamuffin Raptor. It is for 5 mana. It's a creature dinosaur at common. It says when this creature enters, return up to one target creature or food card from your graveyard to your hand. It is a 4/3. So this card's interesting. Like you are going to want to make sure that you have some of those like pizza spells that help you do removal. So it's basically like you're paying 5 mana for an understated card, but it's going to give you a removal spell back, and potentially gain you some life as well because it's a food card. So yeah, I think it's gonna make it a little bit more situational. But like if you had one of these in your deck and the game goes long and you have just like one creature that's really stopping you from closing it out, you're gonna be so happy to be able to like slam this down, get that back. If you have enough mana to where you can just like instantly also lay down the food that you just got back, that's going to feel incredible too. And you can just go ahead and remove it. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times just because it's so understated and you are going to want to make sure that you have the food to go along with it. So like sometimes it's just not going to make your deck because it's just not going to make any sense. But when it does make sense and you have at least one copy of these, I do think it puts it in a little bit higher tier than just being like unplayable or even situational. Like you'll be okay to have one of these in your green black decks for sure. Next up, we have Rocksteady Crash Courser. It is for 6 mana, including 2 in green. It's a legendary creature, Rhino Mutant. says Rocksteady can't be blocked by more than one creature. Boars you control can't be blocked by more than one creature, and you can force cycle it away for 2 generic. We've seen this in every single color. It's a great card. In the early game, it can help you ramp to get to what you need, or if you're like not getting the lands you need, it can help you get the lands. And in the late game, you're just laying down a 6 mana 7/7 that can't be blocked by more than one creature. So all those are great. You're gonna be very happy to have this card in your deck. Next up, we have Saved by the Shell. It's for 2 mana. It's an instant, says the spell costs 1 less to cast if you control a turtle. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control against trample, hexproof, and indestructible until end of turn. We see these in just about every set. Like they're always good. Helps you avoid like removal and things like that. Can help you just close out a game in a pinch. And because we're in the turtle set after all, you are probably going to have the turtle to make it get reduced by the one. But even if you have to pay 2 for this and you're able to save like your biggest threat on the board, you're still going to be happy with that. You'll be happy playing at least one copy of this, and you're kind of going to want to prioritize it because it is uncommon. So yeah, be on the lookout for this card, and definitely like if you have removal and stuff, you're going to have to really think about it because your opponent's in green. There's a good chance that they have one of these. Next up, we have Tenderize. It's for 2 mana. It is an instant. It says target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent control. These are great. This is a bite effect, not a fight effect. So the difference is like when you bite something, you're just dealing damage to it. When you fight something, you all are like dealing damage to each other. So we see this in almost every set now as well. It's crazy to think that like it'd been a couple of years ago, like this would just be nuts to have, and now we're just kind of getting it every single with every single new set. But yeah, as with all the other times that you see it, it is a great removal spell. It can really help you run away with the game. Like if you only have like one big threat and you're able to get rid of it, and then you can keep swinging in. You're going to be very happy to have this in your deck. It's going to be one of the better commons. Next up, we have Transdimensional Bovine. Is for 3 mana. It's an Ox avatar. It has flying, and you can you can tap it to add 2 manas of any one color. It's an 0/4. So, I mean, this card's fine. It's got flying and it's an 0/4. There's a good chance that like things aren't really going to be able to get in with it. It's enough of a defensive creature. You can't be offensive with it, but the fact that it can help you ramp, like if this was your turn 3, you're still adding to the board. You're creating it. You're going to make it difficult for your opponent to swing in because of how beefy it is on like the defensive side. And then if you're able to like the next turn lay down a 6 drop because you have another land and then you have the 2 mana that this is generating for you, that's just going to really help you snowball a game. You're going to be pretty happy to have it. I think there's a couple of cards in like uncommon and stuff that you'd want to have over it as like a pack one, pick one. So, it's not a bomb or anything, but it is a solid green card. Like you're going to be happy to have it in your deck. Next, we have Turtle Power. It is for 3 mana. It's an enchantment. It has flash. It says turtles you control get +2/+2. This is a great enchantment. Paying 3 mana to flash this in, like you can ambush your opponent with this. You can also do it on the other way. So, like if your opponent doesn't think that you have good blocks and they're swinging into you, um, then you're able to flash this in and make all your things bigger that are turtles. Now, surprisingly, like do keep in mind, like a lot of these turtles, they are legendary because all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are legendary. They each have that now. They do have multiple of them, but they are still legendary. I don't think you're going to have like a crazy amount of turtles, and that's going to make this more of like a situational card because like if you have like 2 or 3 turtles, I don't really think this is going to be worth the slot. And even for like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle set, outside of the turtles, I don't think there's too many of them running around. So that does make this a little less good. But I just don't think it's going to be that great. Now, if you end up in a deck where you have like at maybe 5, like I'd say at least 5 turtles or more, then yeah, play this. It's going to feel great. But anything less than that, it's just not going to be worth the slot in your deck. Next up, we have Venus, Torn Between Worlds. It is for 5 mana. It's a legendary creature, mutant frog turtle. At uncommon, it says whenever Venus is dealt damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on her. Whenever a creature you control with a counter on it deals combat damage to a player, you can play blue. If you do, draw a card. I think this card's great. A 5 mana 5/5 is already perfectly statted. The fact that like your opponent isn't going to want to take 5 damage, but they're also going to feel bad if they have to like block into this because she's going to get more and more counters on it. And then it's going to help you snowball if you're able to like draw a card off of her. And this does say whenever a creature you control with a counter on it. So if you're in the green blue deck, or really just a green deck, and you're able to splash the blue piece, you're still going to be happy to do that because again of all like the other tokens going around, there's other cards in green that give you +1/+1 counter. So like even if it's not necessarily Venus that's going to get you to draw the land, other cards that have other cards that have counters on them can help you get there as well. I think this is one of the best uncommons in the set. You're going to be very happy to have this in your deck. Next up, we have Westwind Avatar. It is for 7 mana in total, including 2 in green. It's a creature spirit avatar at uncommon. It has trample. It says whenever this creature enters or attacks, you may sacrifice a token or land. If you do, you gain 3 life. And it also has Disappear. It says at the beginning of your end step, if a permanent left the battlefield under your control this turn, you get to draw a card. It's a 7/7. This is another great uncommon. It is top end and it is 7 mana, so it's not going to be the easiest thing in the world to get to. Now, do keep in mind in green, like there's ways to ramp. There's other cards that help you get there faster. And the fact that like once this has gone into like the super late game, like if you're at a point where you lay this down and you have, um, I don't, I want to say like 9 mana, 8 mana laying around, and you just know that this is the biggest card in your deck, then you don't need that extra 1 mana. You can start sacrificing it. Not only do you gain the life, but then you get to draw a card off of it. I just think this card's excellent. You're going to be very happy to have it. I mean, I really think all the uncommons in green are super strong. This is probably one of the strongest ones, but I mean, honestly, all of them are pretty strong. A lot of them help you stabilize and things like that. So this is another great uncommon for green. Next up, we have Zoo Escapees. It is for 2 mana. It is a Boar Rhino. At common, it says when this creature leaves the battlefield, create a mutagen token. It's a 2/2. We see these a lot, like these 2 mana 2/2s that when they leave something behind. In the early game, they're going to help you stabilize. And then in the late game, when they overstate their welcome and you're able to remove it, whether it's through like if you're in green and black, you'll have ways that you can sacrifice it. Or if it's just like straight up combat that gets rid of it and it leaves behind a mutagen token, you're going to be okay with that. It's going to feel great to fill out your curve. So yeah, solid card to add it to your deck. And that is going to wrap us up for green. With all that out of the way, the last cards that we have to go over is going to be the what is it? The special guest cards. So yeah, the next ones that we're going to go over is the special guests. There's not too many of them. Those videos are a little bit different. I kind of like instead of just a traditional, because like to be honest, a lot of the special guest cards are just not that great and limited. So you know, I kind of like instead I turn it into more of like, okay, how much is this card worth? Like if you're drafting and if you go down to your local game store and you play this in paper, is it worth taking this card because it's probably going to make you lose maybe a good pack one, pick one, but if it pays for your draft and stuff like that, it might be worth it. Or if you're just trying to build or something, or if you just care about getting cards that are worth money. So yeah, we will be going over that next. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like the content, be sure to like and subscribe. Everything you do helps the channel grow and helps me become a better Magic player along the way. Thank you so much again just for taking your time out of your day and be on the lookout for our next one.